Hey YouTube, what is going on? Tonight's review is going to be a part of my big beer series. So I'm going to start looking at a collection of beers that are a little special. These are special release beers. These might be bigger beers in the respect that they're imperial stouts, double IPAs, Belgian quads, barrel aged beers. I'm going to be looking at a lot of beers that aren't actually available at your average LSBO beer store. So the first one I'm kicking off with tonight is Sawdust City's 1606. So this is what they did was take their skinny dipping stout, and they barrel aged it in wine barrels, actually, red wine barrels for 12 months, which is pretty significant. 12 months is a long time for aging a beer. So Sawdust City actually brewed this beer to celebrate their 1 year anniversary as operating at their brick and mortar brewery. So this is a skinny dipping stout, barrel aged in red wine barrels for a year. They also added raspberries throughout the year, I believe once a month, every few months, to give it a bit of tartness. So what am I expecting from this? The regular stout, I believe, was 5% ABV. This one's 5.7, so it hasn't gone up that much. Price-wise, this was, I believe, $14 a bottle, so it's up there with like your winter beer double chocolate cranberry stout, which comes in at a much higher ABV. But this one is barrel aged, so it is special on its own right. So being a wine barrel aged beer, that's actually fairly unique. I've only had two other examples. The first being was actually from Sawdust City as well, and that was the Princess Swears Girl Pants meets the ODB. That was a Belgian ale that they made, but I believe that was in white wine barrels. The only red wine barrel aged beer I've had was actually Winey Bastard from Nickelbrook, and that is one of, if not my favorite beer that I've ever tried, so I have high hopes. I'm expecting this to be a little more lighter in body than the Winey Bastard. Obviously, the ABV much lower. Winey Bastard was up around 10% or so. So at $14 a bottle, this beer here is up there with the likes of, say, Muskoka's Winter Beer Double Chocolate Cranberry Stout. It's about $1 cheaper than the Winey Bastard was in the similar format bottle. So, without further ado, let's crack her open and see if it warrants price. So this beer is not caged or corked like some of its competitors. There's no wax seal like the Winey Bastard, so it should be fairly easy to get open. Alright, there we go. Let's give it a pour in my Sawdust City glass. Nice and dark. So far so good. Looks like a proper stout. Alright, what do we have here? That is a great looking beer. Fall's coming around, another few days, cooler weather, time for those darker beers, and this is the perfect kickoff to the season. Alright, jet black, I can't see anything through it. It's got a tan mocha head, big frothy bubbles. Looks like a proper beer for this style. Let's see what the aroma's like. It's kind of funny. If I didn't actually see the beer that was in front of me, a stout would not be the first style that would come to mind just based on the aroma. The first thing that hits you, you get that real tannic, that kind of vinous characteristics. So definitely a noticeable presence from the red wine barrel and the fruitiness from the raspberries. You do get a bit of like your traditional, your chocolates, your coffee kind of aromas that you would find in a typical stout, but I would say they are actually overpowered by the barrel and fruit characteristics. Now that's interesting because other beers, I'm thinking of Muskoka's Winterbeard, so they advertise that double chocolate cranberry stout as having cranberries in it, and I've only ever had the aged versions of that beer, and on every example I've had, the cranberry's it's not there, there's no presence in the aroma, and on the taste it's very faint. I hear it's different on the fresher bottles, but here it's definitely apparent, the fruit, and I hope it really pulls through on the actual taste profile. So let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers. Interesting. So like I was saying, with that strong aromatic presence, the first thing that hits you on the taste profile, it's definitely that vinous characteristic. You can definitely detect the red wine influence on this beer. A bit of oakiness from the barrel itself, and there is a bit like a at the very forefront of your taste, like you're getting that. It's almost like a zesty or fruitiness. I'm assuming that's from the addition of the raspberries. They do make themselves known. You can detect they're there. After that though, so that's the initial attack on your taste profile. After that, it does kind of mellow down and roll back onto what you would expect from your stout. So you're that malty backbone. You have the coffee. You do have the chocolate. Um, but again, it kind of leaves you with that tanniny resininess, that vinous aftertaste. It's almost like if you're chewing on like a sour, a tart, like the skin off a grape. No, I think the real reason that the barrel, the fruit, and the wine that they really show through on the stout is because it's a base stout. This was originally it was a 5%, their skinny dipping stout. This is being elevated to a 5.7% stout. So it's nothing crazy. It's not an imperial, Russian imperial, etc. Um, I think that's really why these characteristics are not overshadowed by an overwhelming stout presence. And the balance I'm seeing now, I'm actually seeing about a 50-50. Really starts off the barrel, the wine, the raspberries, followed by what you expect from the stout. I think it's a great balance. The only thing I'm going to hold against this beer, even though it is a special edition, there's only about 400 bottles or so that are being released. $14 a bottle, a little steep for a beer of this style. I do appreciate it being barrel aged. It's one of the few beers I have been exposed to that's been barrel aged. But low ABV. If this was offered as a seasonal or regular offering in like a 500 or a tall boy, I'd be picking a lot of this up. Sawdust City do a great job. I gave the skinny dipping stout, the base of this, an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give the 1606 8.5 out of 10. Great job, Sawdust City. And guys, stay tuned. Until next time, I'll be back again soon. Cheers.